rebuts Elon Levy, the now suspended Israeli government spokesperson. He says, I can confirm that the United Nations has not requested that the Kerem Shalom crossing is closed on Saturdays. A specific, very clear claim made by Elon Levy, the Israeli government spokesperson, adding, it is our understanding that Israel closes it due to the Sabbath. So this official Israeli spokesperson was publicly making a claim which was entirely and utterly false. Once again, the long track record of Israel making official public statements which are false. You cannot believe a single thing Israel's authorities ever say. Now, specifically, this really is so important. Just listen to it. He says, similarly, you cite claims that I've also heard elsewhere that international donors should send as much aid as they wish and Israel will facilitate its entry. I wish this were the case. It is of enormous frustration that UK aid for Gaza has been routinely held up, waiting for Israeli permissions. For instance, I'm aware of some UK-funded aid being stuck at the border for just under 3 weeks, waiting for approval. Now, listen to this. The clearing processes, including multiple screenings and narrow opening windows in daylight hours. Just absorb all of that. Now, firstly, either Elon Levy, official Israeli spokesperson, is completely incompetent at his job and has got completely wrong what's actually happening on the ground, as per what is the most critical aspect of the current situation in Gaza, which is why famine is now spreading at an unprecedented rate, or he is knowingly spreading lies in order to stop people believing that Israel is starving the people of Gaza. Lies he must know that, if taken seriously and acted upon, will kill huge numbers of innocent people, and indeed, not just in terms of what Western governments do, but also deceive Western public opinion to stop them putting pressure on their own governments to use their leverage over Israel to stop starving people. Now, as I've said once to him directly on Twitter, and I'll say it again, it is my belief that it might be 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, but that man will end up in jail. The Genocide Convention of 1948 criminalises genocide, obviously, and it also criminalises incitement of genocide and complicity in genocide. And if you are knowingly spreading information which allows a state to starve to death a civilian population, then you are, I believe, self-evidently complicit in genocide. Now, the crucial here is David Cameron, Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom, one of Israel's key allies, has made it clear publicly that Israel is preventing desperately needed aid to a population which is beginning to starve to death because of arbitrary delays and lengthy clearing procedures, which can take weeks and narrow opening windows in daylight hours. What you can clearly understand from David Cameron's letter is Israel is intentionally putting up as many blocks and delays as possible to prevent aid getting into Gaza, with the consequence of people starving to death.
Une preuve des massacres et du génocide et de l'Holocauste par famine de Tel Aviv, c'est le bombardement de l'UNRWA et des camions d'aide humanitaire, à coups de missiles, à coups d'obus, à coups de chars. Voilà ce que...
Far fewer trucks entering Gaza than before 7th of October. And obviously it's important to say, need now is much, much greater, not just in terms of the devastation suffered by civilians, the total destruction of Gaza, but take into account the decimation of agriculture, so the ability to grow food, for example, and the mass destruction of the sorts of essentials that human life depends on. So David Cameron also notes